And the campaign would provide the opportunity for people to get a very clear view about that choice. The choice between a government that has demonstrated its ability to manage our economy in some of the most difficult times we've seen since the Great Depression. Government that's been able to get unemployment down to 4%. A government that's been able to ensure we have been able to keep our AAA credit rating, which has ensured we're keeping downward pressure on those rising prices that we're seeing all around the world. A government that in the last 12 months in particular, because of how we've invested in the Australian economy, we've been able to turn around the budget by over $100 billion in the space of just 12 months. So we can be delivering real cost of living relief right now. And we've all seen that as we've moved around the country, as we've seen those petrol prices coming down by halving that petrol tax, that $250 which is going to those pensioners and many others who receive those types of payments. And of course the tax relief additionally that people will see when they put their tax return in on the 1st of July. And of course we've seen a Labor Party that Australians know can't manage money, a Labor Party that doesn't understand the economy, and a Labor Party who people just don't know, and a Labor leader that people just don't know. You know, campaigns, they can be tough. They can be very tough, and people will make stumbles. But I can assure you that running a campaign is one thing. Running a country, governing, it's a lot harder. It's a hard job. And the consequences of not being able to do that well outstrip anything you see in a campaign. And you know, as a government, we have had to deal with some of the toughest circumstances any government has had to face. Certainly since in an international scene, with international security issues, going back to the Second World War, going back to the Great Depression in terms of the impact we've seen of this pandemic, 30 times worse and harder than the global financial crisis. But yet, as a government, we've been able to take Australia to a place where we've got almost 400,000 additional jobs after the pandemic as we come out of it than we had coming in. And I note also that the employment figures released this week, 77% of Australians of working age today are in a job. That is the highest level of Australians of working age in a job ever. And of course, you've seen us manage a pandemic, the likes of which we've seen not for 100 years. So my team, and me as Prime Minister, we've been tested not in 1 week of an election campaign, but at some of the toughest circumstances any government has had to face in generations. You know, running a campaign is one thing. Running a country is a hard job.